students. Now let's continue the next part of our chapter. The next part is, first of all, let's see loops. What is loops? Now for that, let me give some diagrams to you. Suppose we have such a transportation table. Okay. Now here, suppose here somewhere the allocation is occurred. Suppose here are the allocations. Then we can form such a loop there. Okay. Now second figure, let me give. Now suppose the allocations are here. Suppose the allocations are as such, then we can form such a loop in between them. Now suppose third figure is as such, or third figure or table you can say. Now in next table, suppose the allocations are here. If they are joined as such, then next part, suppose the allocations are as such, now here if somebody join this one as such, okay, then after this, look at it carefully. Here this loop has, we had joined 4 allocations here. In this loop we had joined 1 2 3 4 5 6 allocations. Now here we have joined 3 allocations and one line is not straight, while it is not straight. Fine. Now what about this? Here all lines are straight, but how many allocations are there? It is a slant line here. Here look at here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 allocations. All lines are straight, but the definition of loop has some conditions. Let me give the definition of loop. Definition of loop. In a transportation table, an ordered set of 4 or more cells is said to form a loop if any two adjacent cells in the ordered set must lie either in the same row or same column. In a transportation table, an ordered set of 4 or more cells is said to form a loop if any 2 adjacent cells in the ordered set must lie either in the same row or in same column. Look at here. Here I say this doesn't form a loop, as one line is a slant line and it is not in the same column or same row. This slant line is not in the same column or same row. Now one another thing is that any three or more adjacent cells in the ordered set, any three or more adjacent cells in the ordered set do not lie in the same row or in the same column. Now same thing is occurring in fourth figure here or fourth table here. Look at these three allocations are in the same row or same column. This should not be a loop. What they say, three or more adjacent cells in the order set do not lie. They shouldn't lie as such in a loop. So from these things, now I had written three properties of loop. So let me write them. Properties. If these properties are satisfied, then it will be a loop. Otherwise, it is not a loop. Now, this is an important thing here. For finding an optimal solution, first of all, we have seen all the methods to find initial basic feasible solution. But for finding optimal solution, if the initial basic feasible solution is not optimal, then we need to form a loop, and later on we can find the optimal solution. Okay, so how does that? Let me see that part further. Now before that, let's write the properties of loop here. Now first property, every loop has an even number of cells. Second thing, loop may or may not be a square in shape. Now here, due to this first property, what the property says, every loop has even number of cells. So here no need to write that three or more allocations shouldn't lie in the same row or same column. Now whatever table we had written, out of them, now look at it carefully. First two are loops while the third and fourth are loops. Okay. So let me write that part. 1 and 2 are loops in transportation problem, and 3 and 4 are not loops, using the definition. Okay, now let's go for the next definition, that is degenerate and non-degenerate solution of a transportation problem. Definition of degenerate and non-degenerate solutions of a TP, of the transportation problem. A feasible solution is said to be non-degenerate if it is basic feasible solution. You know about basic feasible solution. If number of allocations equal to m plus n minus 1, then it is a basic feasible solution. That is, if m plus n minus 1 equal to total number of allocations. So if feasible solution is a basic feasible, then it is non-degenerate also. Now if it doesn't, or if it is not a basic feasible solution, then obviously it is a degenerate solution. So we can say otherwise it is degenerate. In fact, the feasible solution is said to be degenerate if total number of allocations are strictly less than m plus n minus 1, then it will be a degenerate solution, strictly less. So we can say, write in symbol, that is, if total number of allocations are strictly less than m plus n minus 1. If they are equal, then it will be non-degenerate. If these are less, then it will be degenerate. Fine. Now, whatever problems we had solved yet for finding initial basic feasible solution, all the problems have feasible solution, and that feasible solution is basic also. So, all the problems we had solved yet, we can say they are of which category among these two? They are non-degenerate solutions. And if it is, one more thing, if the solution is not non-degenerate, then we can reduce it into non-degenerate by adding one more allocation, whatever the required allocation, we can say only one required allocations, using a very small quantity or the smallest value, epsilon. Epsilon is a very small value, so we can take that allocation at the least cost, wherever the least cost occurs, so that our transportation cost should be minimum. Now let's solve one example. Obtain an IBFS, initial basic feasible solution, by first one, northwest corner method, and the second one using VAM method also. Of the TP. Now the TP is given to us. It is here supply, here demand, and the costs are given 50, 30, 220. Supply is 1 here, 90, 45 and 170. Supply is 3 here, 50, 200 and 50. Supply is 4 here, and the demands are 3, 3, 2. Now what is the addition here? Here in this TP, look at first the total of supply and demand. It is same, 8. So it is balanced, so it has a solution, it has a feasible solution. Also, let's see, is it basic feasible or not. If it is basic feasible, then it will be non-degenerate. If it is not, then it is degenerate. Okay, so let's solve by northwest corner method first. So first, given TP, is balanced implies it has a solution. It has a solution. So, by northwest corner method, the first allocation is from northwest corner, that is cell 1 1. So I won't write that part. If you want, you can write down that part also. It is not required to write that thing now, as it is, you are familiar for that one now. So here let's write the cost 50, here 30, 220, here 90, 45, 170, here 50, 200, 50, 134, 332 is the demand and supply. Okay, now northwest corner, so we will start from this 1 cell. Now minimum of 1 and 3 is 1, so here our allocation is 1. So now this 1 is get satisfied. Here how much left? 2 will left. So here this row constraint gets satisfied, so our next allocation is here. It will be minimum of this 2 and 3, so it will be how much? 2. So this is get satisfied. Here 1 will left. Fine. So now this column constraint gets satisfied, so our allocation is here. Now minimum of 1 and 3, so 1, so this is get satisfied. Here again 2 are left. Again this row constraint gets satisfied, so our allocation is in this column. So minimum of 2 and 4 will be 2, so this column constraint gets satisfied. Here 2 will left, and now column constraint gets satisfied, so our next allocation is here. So now here this is the last cell and the allocation is what? 2. Fine. So how many allocations are these? 1 2 3 4 5. 5 allocations. Number of rows are 3, number of columns are 3. 3 plus 3, 6 minus 1, 5. So total number of allocations equal to the m plus n minus 1 here. So it is a basic feasible solution, and it is a basic feasible, so it is non-degenerate solution also. So let me write that part here, as all demand and supply constraints are satisfied, all demand and supply constraints are satisfied by allocations. So it is a feasible solution. It is given by x11 equal to 1, x21 equal to 2, x22 equal to 1, x32 equal to 2, and x33 equal to 2. Okay. Also, total number of allocations equal to 5, that is equal to m plus n minus 1. It is 3 plus 3 minus 1 minus 1. Okay, that is also 5. Therefore it is basic feasible solution. Hence it is non-degenerate solution. And has total cost equal to 50 into 1 plus 90 into 2 plus 45 into 1 plus 200 into 2 plus 50 into 2, and that sum is 775 rupees. 775 rupees. Now this is using what? Northwest corner. Now let's solve the same one using VAM. Second, VAM method or VAM rule. Now for this or by this method, the first allocation is at lowest cost with highest penalty. So we need to determine the penalty. So let me prepare a table first. Cost 50, 30, 221 supply, here 90, here demand 45, here 170, here 50, 200 and 50, 3, 4, here 3, 3, 2, that will be 8. So now VAM rule. So first of all we have to obtain penalties. So row penalty, column penalty, so here the column penalty is 0, here 15, here it will be 120, here row penalties are 20, then 45 and what? 0. So highest penalty is 120, so our allocation is in this column with lowest cost. So 50 is the least cost here. So minimum of 2 and 4 is 2. So our allocation is 2 here. This is get satisfied. Here 2 are left. So this column constraint gets satisfied. So due to that the row penalties will change. Now look at here, what is a row penalty? It will be 20. What about this? It is again 45. And here it will be 150. So out of these 0, 15, 20, 45, 150, this 150 is the highest penalty. So our allocation is here with lowest cost. Now this sale we won't consider, as well already we have done the allocation there. So this 50 we have to consider. So minimum of 2 and 3 will be 2 here. So this 2 is allocated, here 1 are left. Fine. Now this row constraint gets satisfied. So due to that the column penalty will change. So column penalty, what does here? It will be 40. Here it is 15 again. Fine. Now this column we need no need to consider, as it was satisfied. Now out of 40, 15, 20, 25, which is the maximum? 45 is the maximum. So our next allocation is in this second row. So with least cost, so it will be 45. So minimum of 3 and 3, so it is 3 itself. Fine. So this both row constraint as well as column constraint get satisfied. Now this row constraint, column constraint get satisfied. This third column is already get satisfied, third row is already get satisfied. So only one cell will left. So this is also 1 in at both places. So allocation is 1 there. So all the constraints are get satisfied with these 4 allocations. So what can we say here? Here all demands and supply constraints are satisfied by allocations. So it is a feasible solution. Feasible solution. And the feasible solution is x11 equal to 1, x22 equal to 3, x31 equal to 2 and x33 equal to 2. It is degenerate. It is a degenerate solution because why? Because total number of allocations not equal to m plus n minus 1, that is 3 plus 3 minus 1. Total number of allocations are how much? 4, and that is not equal to this. This is what? 5. So for this is due to that this is degenerate. So what can we do here? But we can resolve or ignore this degeneracy of a solution by allocating unoccupied cell with minimum cost as the very smallest value. As I say earlier, that is epsilon. Epsilon is positive. Now let we put that one with least cost. Now wherever the least cost out of these unoccupied cells, so least cost is at 30. So we will do this allocation of epsilon at that cost 30, that is 1 2 position. So x12 will be epsilon, this epsilon greater than 0. So due to that, what happened? Our feasible solution is basic feasible solution. And it is given by x11 equal to 1, x12 equal to epsilon, x22 equal to 3, x31 equal to 2 and x33 equal to 2. So as such, 5 allocations we can form, that is equal to m plus n minus 1. So it will become a basic feasible, so non-degenerate. So as such, the degeneracy can be ignored. Also it should be noted, so it is note that the presence of epsilon indicates that we are not shipping any product from origin 1 to destination 2. It is at 1 2 position. So look at here carefully. Here if we have to write epsilon, fine. So here this is origin 1, you know these are destinations. Destination 2 is this. Okay, origin 1, 2 and 3. So it doesn't mean that we are shipping something or we are transporting something from origin 1 to destination 2. It doesn't mean that. It is just for our simplicity to find the optimal solution. We need the basic feasible or non-degenerate solution. If it is not, then we need to make it as such, fine. That's why we are adding this small allocation here at the least cost. So that will be considered with value 0, so it will be negligible. So that's why it doesn't mean that we are shipping something from any origin to any destination. Also, one more note we should write. From above problem, above means this same one, above problem, we can say that the degeneracy of a solution may occur at any stage. This can be occur at initial stage or in between also. That time always resolve it using the same trick by adding a smallest value, that is epsilon, with a least cost or at the least cost position. Okay, so here we will stop. Next video we will see the optimal solution to a TP and what is the method to determine the optimal solution. Okay, thank you.